10th of the 5th, 2018. Just trying to access again, third time, lucky, hopefully tomorrow. A medical, it's UK, known as NHS Dental Community Services Limited, what they can do. Today was a thumbs up to those that are trying to help this time due to the effects of this complex medical one situation. Well, unfortunately, people in my situation, it's a bit of a complex. Thank you for joining. It's just a short video on the subject of UK NHS dental. Many people like me, from experience. It's not just about me, by the way, and I can't hardly talk, so please bear with me. I can't put my face on camera, so I'm not very well. Anyone listen to this and you are a public servant and you only know too well, you're trying in your job role to assist people like I, kindly make it lawful, full disclosure was required of the individual you're trying to assist. I would appreciate that. Please kindly bear with the disabled men or women who struggle because of the ill health affecting them in their words and the content they're trying to email. It is extremely difficult constantly trying to phone, to talk on the telephone. This is made clear constantly, repeated emails, and I find it extremely disconcerting and alarming that this is not being recognised. And today, finally, I hope one can move on. Reluctantly, one's reality is there's like an advocacy service. This particular female, she absolutely means well. And I hope when she's able to, because so many thousands of people in my situation are experiencing severe complexity trying to access not just the NHS, but it's a combination of public services. I live in an area where it's been all over the national media about the cutbacks in adult health social care. And it's not just that, it's moving forward. And unfortunately, when those definitions of words, when one used to do certain subjects and things I used to be able to do, I didn't expect to get so ill the past months. So, for example, if I go out for half a day to take lovely photos of nature or this weather, I'm in bed the next day, cannot move. So now today, finally, hopefully, I just hope that one can, if I share my experience, it might help somebody else going through this. United Kingdom, the way it works for people like me, complexity is not just one thing. So if you cannot get through to one's in the system, they call it your general medical practitioner. And how many other able-bodied people who have trouble with that in UK? There isn't an email to use, I wish, and automatic assumptions are made that one can phone certain individuals in their job capacity role. It's not always the situation. When you try, or anyone tries to access other services linked up to other matters in one's personal life and needs assistance, because not everyone has the opportunity to have a family member, a friend, whatever reason, to assist them in a certain situation. There is assumption being made constantly, God knows why, by certain public sector employees, public funded public servants employees in their job role. I'm sure they mean well, but they are not realizing that thousands of people like I no longer able to have the assistance of certain loved ones and certain friends have the extra time to assist in matters that one used to be able to do for himself. So there where I make this stream on that subject. One should not need to constantly email to various, countless how many emails I've sent in a period of 2 weeks to various, one particular NHS, one's area, two public funded departments. One is dental, one is another medical prison services, and they're outsourcing. Now, please don't get started on that one. Outsource means private contracts for private medical companies. Now, if you don't know this, anyone in a similar position, they are reason for UK NHS, everything, cuts and crashes going on, is they're selling the land, assets off to private corporations, public funded by the way, and it is to bring in the private funded to get medical insurance, basically. Who the heck can afford that expense on top of everything else? Sorry, I'll get rid of that. And that will put the situation now linked up with, and this might be important to know, any man or woman, and I don't know how it works for children, looked upon by a public servant, man or woman, that's what they are in the job role, they work for the public, deemed your personal situation, whatever it is complex. Medically, physically, your housing needs, you're not independent, you need high amount of care. And what they call is partnership working is not quite as easy as that, because the terms, conditions of their contracts in goods and services to offer people like I, and many like I out there in UK. I don't know how it works in Scotland or Wales, but I know how it's working not quite as easily in the United Kingdom, and it's a national process in place now. That's the difficulty why thousands of able-bodied men and women also might be experiencing trying to access services. I don't believe everything mainstream media portrays on these subjects. I do, when I'm able to, research. From my experience of unfortunate situations before, the reality is that if one's home, unfortunately, does not meet one's needs, I will inform you how they work this subject on joint partnership working. They call it adult health, social care. Used to be worded as that, but it's called the Care Act 2014. It's in place now, and it's massively complicated in the terminology. To make it simplifiing for anyone like I, or anyone out there to comprehend, is not easy. The simple, basic facts I've had to try and find out. Your data, anything about your situation. If any man or woman in their job role deems a man or woman's vulnerable just because of your illness, disabilities, personal situation, and then what comes in within the Care Act 2014 is adult safeguarding. This is why you will not be able to access your personal data if there has been private companies, employees, or public funded public services employees raise any concern, and that's any concern, whether it's proven or not. And that leads to major intrusion, major investigations in every personal aspect of your life. Please be aware. Who you talk to, where you go, who cares for you, how you live, everything. If you live in any rented social housing, it's called in UK, public funded for, because you're so unwell, you're unable to work, and the state per se system, you know what I mean? It's known as Department of Works and Pensions, national, that's another thing, and national processes to try and get, say, your rent paid, say the new processes in universal credit. Yes, that's a nightmare. And the new one coming now is person independence, PIP. Unless one is engaging, and I mean this very carefully, be very, very careful how you able to keep your records. If you're lucky to have a friend or family to help you, you are extremely lucky. Let me warn you, it's not scaremongering, this is fact. In East UK, in my area, I cannot get any because the overstretched waiting list is huge, and they call it citizens advice. Nationally, you can look at it online. But try and get an appointment because your complexity in your joint medical situation, whatever it may be going on, and it means you can't get to their location in a drop-in in their times. That means you don't get help at all. They used to be known as legal aid, and it now called legal aid agency funding, contracted to as a postcode lottery nationally. In this area, it's community law service. No disrespect to any of these services, men and women at all. It's just the fact that they have, I don't know, my goodness, how many they have on a waiting list too, with similar situations. They do not have capacity, especially when you're in a particular complexity, one situation. And the email one got yesterday is complete, worded in such an inhumane, degrading, abuse of one's human rights. I mean, the list is endless, but briefly, it's refusal to put in place anyone like I, especially I, disability reasonable adjustments. I have been severely unwell with this odd dental, you see my video about it before, odd dental illness, glands getting to my blood for months. I'm trying to get that resolved one thing at a time. But it doesn't work, the system like that. Nobody in this particular subject went to these people by email to seek a home visit because of my situation, and many, like I, they refused, absolutely refused, demanding again that I somehow get off my, magically get better, to get up to the drop-in at the road in another public rented area of a particular public building up the road by their time, by 12:30 or 10 minutes before. Your personal situation means the medication side effects, your personal care, your health, you cannot, impossible, which my email already stated that, by the way. It still come back to demanding I do that. So the kind rejection of the offer will be going. And finally, on a positive note, I should end this. I'm just helping to explain if I'm going through this and what I know. I hope to share my experience to help you out there too. If you're not in this position, you're very lucky. Right, today, how could I say this? Okay, if you've seen my previous videos in this channel, I've got another channel now set up where I'm making videos when I'm able to talk, mainly at the moment, the weather, but it will be, in my experience now, dealing with very hard, very complicated, the changes in my situation, my health, daily life, housing, you name it. It's important, though, unfortunately, conditional acceptance of these offers of public, the way they work. There's no way around this for anyone in my situation. I've studied so many subjects, and one's a certain subjects of this, as I can say right now. And it wasn't for the kindness today. There are kind people about. Of a female today, I ain't saying who she is, of a particular public funded advocacy service only on the subject of adult care. If she hadn't realised the effect on my heart yesterday, not yesterday, where we now? We're now Thursday. It was Tuesday night. Major 2 sudden heart attacks effects during the night. My sister in Wales, I informed her it's a sign because the doctors last year when I had the same problem said I won't recover, it happens again. The effects on my body yesterday of that was complete dizziness, the coordination, the speech, everything in my health completely wasn't in tangent together. Unfortunately, thousands of people, like many able-bodied perhaps people, you can't constantly trying to get through my own medical GP, doctors, they call it in the community, okay, how it works, medical practice. I couldn't get through at all on the phone, let alone trying to talk. So thank gosh at the moment I had somebody to monitor me and to help me, and apparently it turns out it could be all stress related. These men and women doing their best in ordinary jobs, in their job roles, and these public services have no damn clue how all of this is affecting thousands of men and women. I don't know how it works for families of children, on their health added, and the stress. Now, if I hadn't learned from you good people out there, you know who you are, by meditation, natural health remedies, I don't know how I would be surviving. And somebody said to me yesterday, how the hell do you cope? Strong-willed, perhaps. So, moving forward, the advocate today is kindly offered to liaise with this social worker. I hate dealing with these people with passion, but the only way the system in UK will work with people like I and anybody similar, to move forward in your situation, you might already have this in place. It is a major postcode lottery for everything, okay? Oh, hi, nice to hear from you. South Texas. Sorry, I missed that. Remedies are now in the limelight again. That's awesome. Natural remedies in Texas. Okay, thanks for that information. And let me get your name up. Nice to see you. Is it Lynn? I can't pronounce your name. Linda 101. Nice to hear from you from Texas. Yes, let me go into the natural remedies part. In United Kingdom, how it works, and one is as I just explained, I can only go from my experience. If you're seen to be taking any herb, any natural remedies, and you're on the mainstream medication as well, which I've been on for years, one will be labelled, and this is fact. I've got document paperwork to prove this, and I went through this last year in where are we now? April last year. Yeah, so 2017. I've learned from good people out there the natural remedies like horsetail, horse, I think it's to do like a natural anti-inflammatory. The devil's claw, cat's claw, the menopause, the vitamin B12, and I'm now been doing foods, non-GMO foods. I've learnt about that from good people online when I was better health. The truth about dentistry, I've learnt about that. Your natural teeth are bones, they're growing all the time. Magnesium, I use the bath, my friend has to do that, help me with everything now. It's like a foot bath, you put the flakes of water in and it's detoxing all the whatever's in your body out that way. With the dental side, I had evidence and still got going to the mainstream in the doctor's mainstream way of thinking, isn't it? Oh no, not natural remedies because they're not making income, are they? Do you know what I mean by that without saying too much? Because I know in my area, key public servants will be listening to this video. They do monitor the video. So I can't really say much about things. Sorry about that going off. I'm keeping on the time. So I'm going to turn the camera around. I'm going to show you a list of these medications. I don't normally do this, but I'll just show you on here. That is all of my weekly medication. That's morning, midday. You never talk about natural remedies to a medical doctor who is not welcome for the most part. Absolutely. Can you see how much? Let me just, without showing my private details and medication list that came today. So the medical pharmaceuticals companies, the United Kingdom, they're all in it together, aren't they? It's no matter where you are. I think it's just the same. And it's like the vaccines, isn't it? You know? So yeah. These, I've not had a medication review for years, by the way. Now, I don't mind people knowing this. Let me just go on my other medication list, right? I was put on metformin because of a gynae condition in 2002. I've not been reviewed since. I was put on the thyroxine for the underactive thyroid, and that was years, and I've not been reviewed or blood tests for 2-3 years, and I should have been. I've been put on pepagelin because since I got one over in 2009, I had the repeated strokes ever since 2010, now 2018. That's for the injuries on the spines and the disc and my the effects of my powerless side, my left side, and the limitations on my right side. I got re-injured again in an accident in the post office in my wheelchair, and it's re-aggravated, and now I'm losing my strength from my right side, so I'm a bit of a complex situation. The naproxen, I think it's pronounced, can't pronounce these words. It's like a painkiller, right? And with that, it has side effects on the gut. So they prescribed this other anti-acid type drug to counteract that one. Isn't it great, eh? And then the tradamol, as well as a painkiller, right? I'm going to the next list. The iron tablets, I have low iron. I've always had as since a kid. Anemic kind of thing. So I ain't been reviewed on them for years, so I need a medical review, mainstream side. That's the only way they deal with it. If you go on natural remedies, my God. Then I was put on the Benevax. Psychological distress. You're under 18 or you're even under 14. Please don't watch the rest of this or listen to the rest of the video. I had an attempt to my life, attempt to murder in 2002. I survived. I ain't going to go into that because it's very, very sensitive. And all these years on, I live with the effects and the flashbacks and everything else. So they put me on diazepam. I get, what do they call it, flashbacks, nightmares. I'm stable by good people out there that taught me on the true part psychiatry, by the way, natural remedies, meditation, and I progressed. I've absolutely come leaps and bounds since I used to be what I used to be like. Hi, Chris. All those main drugs are for symptoms to, let me just read your comment. Thank you for joining. All those main drugs are for symptoms to manage the illnesses. They are never there to fix you. Chris, Nadia, me, the ladies just joined from Texas. You're absolutely right. They keep changing to a cheaper make on these these drugs, and these ones. Okay, there's Seplicone, and that's the side effect. All the side effects on the list in front of me is all drowsiness. It's all sleeplessness. That's why I can't function before 12 o'clock in the morning, let alone my care I need. Now, the side effects of papagelin, it affects the chemicals in the brain. So, another reason why I can't function. I can't do emails, let alone talk, despite my dental ill health going on. And then on top of that, the side effects of venlafaxine. My God, that's been in the news in America as well. I've been reading about over a period of months. I haven't done as much research because of my ill health the past months. But once I get stable, I will. Now, let me just... If you don't know how it works in the United Kingdom, I haven't really talked about this for a while, but I think it's about time because I'm facing it. And if I can help somebody going through what I'm going through, perhaps, and if they're based, I don't know, I can't do much about in America or any countries, but only in the United Kingdom. My background, before I become run over, I had 9 witnesses to the driver that jumped the curb. I was on the path outside Hairdresser Road. I still got the my lawyer's report. I had health insurance, legal insurance at the time. I had the kindness of the NHS emergency people. It's meant to keep me docile. You're damn right, Chris. Thank you for making that comment. You're damn right. Absolutely. So this is why, again, last year, since last year as well, and the past, now, I went on to the Natural News website. Do you know that one? www.naturalnews.com, is it? And another natural health, because I'm not total vegan. I mean, oh my gosh, yes. Reflexology is good at helping heal yourself, get rid of some of these toxins. Let me just read that. Thank you. Yes, Health Ranger. Yes, thank you, Chris. And thank you. I can't pronounce your first name. Sorry. I have to say it's India 101. Let me just read your comment because it's important. Reflexology. Sorry, I can't speak properly today. Let me get the word out. Reflexology is good at helping yourself to get rid of some of the toxins through massage. Okay, yes. I'll tell you where you're spot on that. Before I become physically unwell, and all this happened to me in the late 90s, a long time ago, 2000, 2001, I used to travel a lot in the UK to London. Thank you for understanding that. Thank you, appreciate that. I trained. I used to run businesses. I used to be a model. I got some photographs. When I'm better, I'll get them out and do a video and show you and just have a fun laugh about my old video. Sorry, my old photographs of me in my model days. You wouldn't believe it's the same me. Just do something different for change, something light-hearted. But anyway, my mum would have my kids when they were little every other weekend, and I would train. Still got the certificates. in reflexology. And this is how I had this crime happen to me. Now, years ago, when I first had my computer, my ex partner, he brought me one. Meditation is both good but bad, depending on the frequency you get into and go in positive. Yeah, okay, absolutely right. What I tend to do from the experience of training in reflexology, I've trained my friends who do my feet and do my back and my head, like the head, the Indian head massage, the shoulders, my right side, because I can't feel my right hand anymore, because it's the way I got injured when I got run over. And they manipulate my left side of my arm, my leg, with lavender oil, pure essence of lavender oil. Brilliant. And it helps keep you calm. And with the magnesium plates. So with all this medication and the extra natural, what you just said about the reflexology as well. Now, to try and keep me, what you just said, Chris, about being docile, to keep me docile like this, wheatgrass powder from a natural health food shop, and like you just said about, well, I got that information to help my dental. It's gone into my blood, symptoms of septicemia, and that won't be confirmed till I get the blood tests, okay? So, wheatgrass powder, it's green and it's gross to look at, like green or that tablet, and it's mixed into, if your right arm hurts, they can massage your right arm and right ear to help. Oh my gosh, thank you. I did read, I've got this book from when I still got it from all these years on, thank gosh I got it still. It says that on the pressure points on your hands, your feet, and what you just described, on the pressure points on your ear, on the shoulder, the mainstream doctors will not operate in the, it's called a rotor cuff on the shoulder. It's not a frozen shoulder. I battle demons I must not open myself up to it. Sorry, Chris, I'm going to reread that. Thank you. I battle demons and I must not open myself up to it, and that's why I am afraid. Chris, absolutely on the meditation side, I see where you're coming from. Yes, you're right about that. Let me have a drink, bear with me. Yes, the one on the meditation side of things, I do, my neighbour, his family history are trained in all this as well. So, how long now? 2 years I've been doing meditation before I met you, Chris, online, and learning about spirituality, spirit, you know, how could I say it? I come from a religious background, and the way I was raised in the Mormons, it wasn't quite what I now know to be. You don't open to the bad. Yes, you're absolutely right. Let me just read that out. Thank you, Linda. Is that right to call you Linda? You don't open to the bad in a positive light. When we meditate, we get cringy stuff come up. That's true, and that needs to be healed us. That is right, and simply acknowledge it. Sorry, I'm trying to read. By putting a loving white light on that move on. Yes, that's true. Chris, thank you. I'm going to read your comment. I believe God sets up encounters for us, and I can learn from both you and others. Yes. And Linda, thank you. That's fine. Chris, you're absolutely right. If I hadn't got run over, I wouldn't have got out of, well, put it this way, if I didn't have the attempt on my life, attempt to murder and survive that, and I had to move out my old 3-bedroom house on an emergency basis because of it all, and end up where I am now, I wouldn't have gotten the journey to learn about contract law. I wouldn't have gotten the journey to learn about what I didn't know what a disability or illness this was all about. I was like so many thousands of people, so shallow. I was rebelling against the way I was raised in the Mormons. I was against everything and everybody. And it's my way. I went so many dark, I never touched drink or drugs, thank gosh. And it's the way I was raised. And I went in so many emotional dark areas of my life. I will never ever do that again. But I can't explain publicly, but it was just horrendous. So what you're saying about, if that hadn't happened, I wouldn't have learned from that experience. I still struggle, but I wouldn't have learned what I know now. Moving on, if I hadn't moved where I am, and in the same year moving in 2009, where I am here now in September, by November, I got run over. Is that bad luck? At the time, I saw it all negative. All these years on, I now know what you're just saying, Chris, by learning about spirituality, I said that right, by natural health as well. I wouldn't have studied on the subjects because I needed to know. Well, I didn't know what care meant. I didn't know what disability. I didn't know nothing until it happened. I got on record. I've got the proof, first-hand knowledge of this. I was dropped off my medical hoist and injured on my head in my home. I was burned by oils, by the cooker, by carers. I was verbally abused, mentally abused by carers of my own. So this is why I had to stop them coming in 2013. Well, it's 14 at the end of 2014. And that's why all this period of time now, private non-paid arrangement by private friends for trying to help me. And that's the predicament I've been in. But it hadn't been for that, I'm joining hangouts and people meeting all over the place online, information, learning, and coming more onto natural health as well. I wouldn't be in this position to try and come to terms with my reality. And it is a journey, a personal journey. Everyone's different. Now, this, I know now, okay, about not to take, we are given these experiences to allow us to be able to help others who go through it after us. It's hands-on training, but in the end, we get to helping in a better light. Thank you, Linda. Absolutely right. Definitely. So that's where I am. You're true. That's where I am now. It's frustrating. So I hope from my experiences of well, a messed up world, I see it in many areas, but personally in this kind of I can only go in my area and what's going on here, what I know about, and how difficult it is trying to, knowing what I know on these natural health, knowing that if I don't accept this under duress in front of me, they are going to try and turn she's got another undiagnosed mental health, you know? That's how they're going to work, and will still work, by the way. So now I've learnt about the non-GM foods, changed my diet, as I said, wheatgrass for the dental health, detoxing. Like you said, Linda, about the meditation. And yes, by the way, Chris, I'm very careful with that, so don't worry about that. Thank you about your comments, both of you. Thank you ever so much for joining. Really do appreciate that. Sometimes when you go through personal traumas, personal situations, you do feel alone, but I know we're not. And it might sound a bit, well, it won't sound strange for you, Chris, or perhaps Linda might not sound strange, but I feel absolutely, I feel protected around me, unseen protection, if that makes any sense. I've been raised in a religious background, an upbringing, I should say, and seeing so much in people, experiencing so much trauma, and still going on. I know we're only here on a short period of time on Earth for a reason. And perhaps my reason, as you just said, Linda, is to, from what I'm going through, eventually, my aim eventually is to stable, unfortunately, keep people I don't like dealing with in the public sector side. But that's the only way I'm going to try and move on in my life. Next phase, I'm 52 now. To talk to me, and I raised them better, and I've done nothing to them. They just can't accept me. And absolutely, Linda. So I hope by me positively moving on in my situation, my experiences, and I'll get stable in a one person situation, whatever that might be, still I've got a lot of trials and tribulations to go through. Haven't we all? But it makes it more difficult when you I like to think when I'm stable in my predicaments, I'm going through a lot right now, my way of trying to take a moment to look at beautiful nature, like I saw the other day, beautiful birds, beautiful simple things. Then I saw, about the weather, what's going on with that. So it's trying to balance things, if that makes sense. And I have to balance my health, and I have to put that first. And when I'm dealing with these public sector employees, for example, I cannot take the natural remedies I used to, because if I end up anytime soon, for example, tomorrow, Friday, offer of a home visit is going to be, again, this. I can't predict, I can't foresee the future. I can only presume it will be like this, by the way. A male and a female by a local dental home visit class me as vulnerable, complex in my physical health, offer a home visit. All they can do is antibiotics. The word antibiotics. I've got probiotics, and that's meant more helpful. I've got coconut oil for cooking. That's more healthy. So, my email again today back to these public services in certain employees on this subject, because they've been messing me about all week, 2 weeks now. And it's all deliberate, a couple of them. Not always, but these ones are. Certain ones are people. So I'm polite, because I know what's behind it. I'm polite and careful how I word things. So today, that's all I'm going to do with that email. And tomorrow, they will take one look at in front of me. I'm just going to show my suitcases all packed. You have to bear with me. Still all packed. There's more in my bedroom. It's not ideal here. Not ideal here. Because I've got medical equipment in front of me. I've got the manual wheelchair in front of me. Another medical aid in front of me. I'm in the powered electric wheelchair. I've got a hoist behind me. Big electrical massive thing. A sling in front of me. Other medical aids in the bedroom. It's like a hospital, basically. So a man or woman that don't know me tomorrow will take presumption this environment is unsafe in their public sector employees' role on the subject of vulnerable adults, and going to use UK's national policy adult safeguarding. I've read it up. I'm not afraid of this, but this is what they might try and do. Unfortunately, it's gone into my blood, this infection, and it might be a symptom of septicemia, and my sister reckons that, so I might have to go in this state public funded hospital, which will be another nightmare to get all these tests done. Okay, they might not do that, but they might just deem that because I could not get to the specialist referral last year for a dental specialist, what do they call it? Maxillofacial department, because behind me, the state of my blinking It's called a wet room. It's not a bathroom, it's a wet room of water flooring, right? You check on my videos on my channel about all this before. I can't talk about it all right now. The landlord will not repair it while I'm here. And it's breach of contract. And there's a reason behind it, and I won't go into it right now. But my other videos, just check them out. What I've said before I got so ill, and why this has been going on since 9 months now, and this is why I've been getting ill. Because the damp from the water flooring is getting to my lungs, it is getting into my cells and making me ill on top. Yes, I can see I've gone through, at the time last year, lawyers, advice services, everything that's meant to be available to help people like I, and nobody would help. Very odd. And so now, the only way to move forward in this situation, I'm finding, is dealing with a social worker. She's the point of contact to liaise with everybody else. The only way I'm going to ever get my rights protected, to get the whole wet room sorted out, is to get this into a specialist respite place. Well, it won't be just temporary, it'll be permanent, and that's how they work. I'm not afraid of that. I know it's going to be that way. Anybody listening to this, that's what they want people in my situation in the UK to be in now. If it's going to cost even £30 more to get personal care in your own home, they will push you, well, not push, but advise the best place in their terminology, in their policies, to get you into care home when you get, when you're meant to have housing with care. It's not quite as easy as that, and it's not nice as that, because the abuse still goes on in the areas, allegedly, I say that at the moment, in nationally well-known profit-making care homes. But I'm not going to preempt you all that right now, because it's not happened yet. I'm just saying this might happen tomorrow, and I hope to gosh it doesn't, but I'm going to meditate. I'm going to pray on this, because I am doing that, by the way, Chris. So you say, yes, I do have my own little way of coping. So, you're right, Linda, by the way, about what you said. Thank you. When you're going to hospital, any public services, i.e., they will check to see if you are taking your medications. If you're not, they will try and say you're not compliant, and they will deem you have another undiagnosed mental health disability, which is not true, but that's what they would do. So that's why I've got this not the website is a help range or anything like that, but it's like a wheatgrass powder. Another one, it's got natural zinc, vitamin B, iron, magnesium for energy, all to do with detoxing first out the body, or these poisons in the body, because all the side effects medications are too, and also to build up the body immune system. That's important. So, and I've still got enough of those powder. You can mix them in your drinks. I don't touch the tap water. Herbal teas. So all the little things I'm doing is, on this side at the moment, is keeping me balanced. So when, God forbid, I end up in hospital, and eventually in their system, care home, whatever, they can't stop you having these powders, because it's not going to interact with these mainstream medications. So I've done that research, thank goodness, already. And at the moment, I'm not in a position. I might see if I don't end up in hospital tomorrow. We're trying to do a video show the type of powders that I use, and if it's going to help someone else in my position while you're on this kind of medication. I'm talking about those in the UK. I'm not sure what it's like in America or any other countries. So therefore, you won't have the problem of public services employees to say, well, you know, you can't do this, you can't do that, because it's always regulations, it's always procedures, it's always, if you're engaging with these people to try and help you, And especially the way their carers' company policies work. They will absolutely be standing over you if you're not seen to voluntarily take these. And my goodness me, I've seen videos, I've read websites how this is happening more and more in the United Kingdom. I do not know, and I can't comment about other places and what's going on elsewhere. I can just observe. But this is reality, unfortunately, in one situation. So to avoid that, I'm doing things carefully, honourably and lawfully. And that's all I can do. I've got to end now because my throats and I'm losing the ability to talk for long. It's my health for you. God bless. Keep safe. Thank you for joining. Thank you for participating with your beautiful comments. I appreciate that. And I hope you're okay. And you, Chris and Linda, God be with you. Be safe. And thank you ever so much for joining. And anybody else watching this video, and you too, Linda, thank you. And anybody else watching this at another time or day, just be aware if you're in UK how the system changes, and how just be very careful and get your medical evidence together so you're ready and you know how you are each day, and so you've got information, if you're able to, typed up or written down to negotiate and try and work with these public sector services employees when you're trying to get the support you need. I hope that tomorrow's another day, and let's hope it is another better day. God be with you, keep safe, and I'm going to just see if I can sit out shortly just at the back and under the sun to take a couple of pictures here of the beautiful birds. I love animals, I love nature. So anyway, take care, we'll get there. Bye.